State officials expect sales will bring in more than $578 million each year. They predict that much of that figure will be generated by tourists, with the lure of legal pot drawing in visitors from outside the state. Stores selling recreational marijuana are expected to open in Washington state later this year. Sales across the U.S. are expected to quadruple in the coming years, hitting $6 billion by 2018. That's a big number. Figures like that, you can imagine, are enticing to investors. So could the economic benefits encourage other U.S. states to allow stores to start selling pot? We're joined now by Alan Valdez. He's a familiar face here on CNN and at WBT in his role as director of floor trading at DME Securities, but he is also the chairman of a recreational marijuana retail group. Diego, Alan, it's great to see you today. You and I have talked about this when you got into this business. Now we're sort of seeing the success that I know a lot of you thought was going to happen with the retail stores opening. Where is this going to go? Is this still going to be niche in some of these states that have long considered this, or do you see this happening nationwide?
Oh, Maggie, no question, this is going to be nationwide. I mean, and look no further than states like Michigan with Detroit, California with Compton, or here in New York City. It's all about the tax revenue. That's really the course of it. That's the bottom line. These states are looking at now Washington State, where Diego was set up, where we're going to open up this spring. That state has half the population of L.A., and they're going to do about $2 billion in tax revenue the first 4 years right now. But that probably is on the low end. It's probably going to go much higher. So it's all about that tax revenue. You know, it's like the lottery. At first, the lotto was gambling. It was the racketeers. It was numbers. It wasn't going to go in every state. Now you can get the lotto in every state, and it's a big generator from Florida to Utah. So it's going to go national.
And we know in this time of austerity, everybody, desperate for that tax revenue. Is it enough to sort of overcome the social concerns? Because I could see there being a real, that's great, but not in my backyard. I don't want to have sort of a pot 7-Eleven down the street from where my kids go to school. Do you think at some point, if this becomes widespread, you're going to see social pushback, especially on a local level?
Well, again, that's up to the voters, but I do see a change. I see it's going to be like alcohol. I mean, when Prohibition ended in '33, when FDR signed it back in, I mean, there was a lot of pushback. But again, the cities that didn't participate weren't getting the tax revenue. So in '33, we were in the midst of the Depression. Right now, we're still in a bad recession, and they need that tax revenue. So I think you're going to see it go national much quicker. States like California, New York are already talking with us. So I think that's going to be the turning points. Once California and New York go legal, and they will go legal, make no mistake about it, that's going to be the turning point for the country.
Now, and what is Diego planning? What are your outlets going to look like? And you're in early. You have that sort of early advantage, but are you worried about competition? I mean, if you see lines like that, I imagine everyone's going to want to hang out their shingle.
Sure. I mean, we're lucky because we have started first. I mean, we're out there. We're going to have stores, high-end stores. We're going to be selling premium marijuana. We're going to actually have two kind of stores. We're going to have one for a lower end, but we're going to have premium marijuana. That's going to be our focus, and it's going to be like a Davidoff. So we're going to have a high-end store. People are going to go in. It's going to be user-friendly. You're not going to be embarrassed to walk in and walk out of that store. I mean, some of these stores right now, they look like rehab centers. So we're going to really upscale it, and we're going to be a national chain eventually. Right now, we're keying on Washington State and Colorado, but eventually, like I said, we're going to go where the laws permit us, and we're going to be there. We're excited about it. It's going to be great. It's like Prohibition is ended, and we're going to be there. If you had gotten involved in the early breweries, you would have made a fortune. Same with Diego. If you get involved early with the marijuana companies like Diego, you'll be very happy at the end of the year.
Now, Alan, is the ultimate goal to go public eventually and to sort of let shareholders get a piece of this? Or are you guys going to stay private so you can sort of maintain control over it?
Well, that's a long way off. We're still focused really right now on Washington, Colorado. So, again, it's going to be years, probably I'd say about 5 years before it's really national. I mean, I don't think the Obama administration will federally legalize it. I think you'll maybe see if there's a Hillary or if there's a Paul administration, legalize it, again, for the tax revenue mainly. So it's going to be years before we even look at IPOs or down the road. We're focused on getting bigger, making the best brand out there, which we are right now. If you look at actually Rolling Stone magazine, they listed the top 10 marijuana industry groups. We're up there, and we're the only one you can really invest in right now. So we're excited about this. We think it's going to be a great year for Diego, and we're looking forward to the future.
Any downside risks, Alan? I mean, we're a bunch of moralists, I guess, still in this country. You always sort of worry about pushback from regulation. Do you see any downside?
Well, at first, sure, there'll be downside risk. I mean, there'll be the threat of the feds coming in. You'll have a right-wing Fed, come in and want to close you down, things like that. But once you crack that door open, you can't shut it. And as far as, like, say, teenagers, it's easier right now for a teenager to get marijuana than it is to get beer because it's not regulated. And, a dealer on the street's not going to check their age. Right now, Washington State, with guys like Roger Goodman who are leading the charge out there, the regulators have it down. So now the marijuana is going to be regulated. It's going to be high quality. Diego's going to have the best quality out there. And it's going to be, you can only sell it to people like 21 and over. We don't want kids to smoke anyway. So it's really the right way to go right now. And, the people want it. At the end of the day, right now, it's a $50 to $60 billion industry in the shadows. So why not tap into it?